Hey everyone, it's Campbell. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new around here, hey, how are you? I'm so happy you found us. As I said, I'm Campbell. I'm currently a ballet major at the University of Cincinnati. And so today I am making a video that was actually inspired by a comment I received a few videos back because someone asked me for some tips on pirouettes and how they kind of lost their double pirouette and they're kind of getting frustrated. So I decided to make a video on pirouettes because I myself am not a natural turner. It's not something that just is naturally easy for me. Yeah, it's just something I struggle with, and so I've spent a lot of time and effort and headspace figuring out how to turn, what works for me, all that. So I decided over break, you'll see I still have my old hair before I cut and dyed it, but over break I decided to make a little video rehashing all the tips that I have for turning, and this is specifically going to be for pirouettes on flat because I did not really have the space for pirouettes on point, and that's a whole different topic that I'm still trying to figure out. So this is kind of just your generic pirouette tips that can work for pirouettes on point, but I demonstrated on flat. Yeah, I hope you guys really enjoy it. I'm sorry this video took a long time to come out. I've been so incredibly busy. I barely have time to do like my actual homework, so that's kind of where I've been. Many more videos will be coming out, I promise. I have a very busy weekend and week ahead of me, so lots of vlogs will be coming from that. I love doing vlogs, so you guys will be able to see them. But yeah, I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section down below, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright guys, let's get right into it. So, pirouettes are a very, dense topic, and so when you're trying to go about fixing your pirouettes, it's really easy to get frustrated because they're really fickle. One, even if you're a turner or not, they're just fickle, and two, especially if you're not a turner like myself, it can just be really hard to get the coordination of everything. And so don't run away being scared, oh my gosh, she's not a turner, she's not gonna give me good turning tips. If anything, I think people who are not turners, who have to work hard to get the proper placement, are probably gonna have the best advice for you, but I digress. Anyways, so this is kind of the different tips that I've gotten along the way that help with me, and then also just kind of general tips that can help you if you're having a different issue. So first off, for pirouettes, it is so critically important that you have a good, properly placed passe. So I want you to go to the bar, at your studio, or if you have one at home, go to the bar, look in the mirror, and check your alignment. So start in a coupe and bring it up without moving your hip, and engage your hamstring here, and get as high as you can in a passe, and find that position and hold it and make sure that it's okay. And so once you kind of get the proper placement, it's okay for your hip to rise a little bit, that's just natural. What you want to do once you're in that position is then start looking at your upper body as well. I have a tendency to lean back. That's just how I compensated when I was learning. And you want to undo that. You want to be farther forward. So then face your mirror to the side and check. Are you too far forward? Are you too far back? Or are you too far forward? Or are you right over where you should be? And thinking about engaging your abs will really help with that. Make sure you're staying forward so that you have proper control and you're not splaying your ribs out like that. That's gonna help you. Because if you're turning like this, that's not gonna help you. You're not gonna get around. So number one thing, make sure you have proper placement. Make sure your foot is not sickling like that and stuff like that. Make sure you have proper placement. Okay, so now we're actually going to get into the turning mechanics. So if you're a beginner and you've never turned before, go talk to your teacher. They'll probably be able to help you in person better. But if you're just kind of learning, so in a classical, traditional technique, which is what I was brought up in, I was not brought up in Balanchine. If you're a Balanchine, you're going to start with your leg straight in the back. But for me, it's a little bit more under me. and it's bent. Both knees are bent. That's how I was taught. I've also seen practices where it's straight and then you bend and go. For me, for my sake, I'm going to start with two legs bent, but both are correct. But both techniques are going to have a little bit different like ways of being able to do the turn. So if you're a balancing dancer, this is probably not the turning video for you because I am not qualified to give enough coaching on that. I mean, I was trained in balancing for a summer, but I don't think that I'm confident enough to help you. So, but feel free to listen to the other tips because they will help. Anyways, so you're going to start with fourth and make sure, especially if you're doing this way, that majority of the weight is going to be on your front leg. A lot of people get really thrown off if they have too much weight on their back leg. Then, of course, like it's way harder to get up. You know what I mean? It's just not going to work. Another thing, even if you have more weight on this leg, it's not going to help if your pelvis is all the way back here and your tushy's sticking out. That's not going to help you. So you want to make sure that you're not tucking your like lifting up and bringing your pelvis up underneath you. That's going to help you. So you're in fourth. Make sure you have like, I've heard different percentages, but I generally like to keep like a 70-30, 60-40 ratio. So most on this leg with some on this leg so that you can push off. So you're in your position, you're properly placed, whether you're here or here, doesn't matter. So what I like to do is, I don't really hit second, but you can. It helps other people to get around. But what I like to do, instead of this, is I just bring it back like that. So bring it right in. And you're gonna wanna focus on this part of your back, like bringing it around. Like that's just, it's gonna help way more. Like whenever I think about that more, my turns are more consistent and they're more clean. Okay, also side note, like I said, turns are super fickle. My turns are probably not gonna be great today because one, I'm not working on a great floor. Two, I've been off for a little bit. And three, my hair's in a ponytail. So obviously it's not gonna be like my most perfect turns ever. So just know that. So don't get frustrated with yourself. And there are times where like I literally for like weeks straight can't do a double. Like that's just how it happens and then all of a sudden it's back. So don't get too frustrated with yourself. It's super, super easy to do that, but please don't. Give yourself some grace. Okay. So you're in your fourth position. You're gonna think about bringing your back around. Your back is what's turning you. Don't think about your arms. Like even like just turn with your arms in second. I've done that before. It's to help you engage your back, to bring you around. So that's what you wanna do. Okay, so now you're in your fourth. One thing that a lot of people do, and I have a habit of doing this as well, you go into your fourth and you, I don't know if you can see this, but you turn in your front leg before you start. So you turn, go. That's not helping you. That's just gonna end up with you in this awkward position and you're just not gonna turn well, your butt's gonna be out. I promise you, as difficult as it is to think about, you're gonna wanna not turn in that front foot before you go. You just wanna push down and go up. That's gonna help you. All of it is about finding the right position. I had a teacher once tell me that turning is just a balance. That's literally all it is. You need to find your position and hold it. And I know it's hard, I know, and I don't think I'm sitting here with like my perfect turns. I don't have the greatest turns in the world, but these are just the tips that I've been given and they have really helped me improve my turns over time. Okay, now next thing that you need to think about in your turn is I'm gonna do a turn for you and I want you to tell me what's wrong. Did you catch what was wrong? I'll tell you in 3, 2, 1. I wasn't spotting. If you said that, you're correct. I wasn't spotting. Did you see how I took my head with me and I was kind of just looking around? I got around. Did I land it well? No. So spotting is really, really important for turning. And I have that habit of not always spotting like my multiple turns. But of course, whenever I do spot, my turns go way better. So take this from me. If you're gonna wanna spot, please do it. It's gonna make your life so much easier. So if you don't know what spotting is, basically you're gonna pick something that's at your eye level. You're gonna pick it. And basically when you go to turn, you're gonna look at it for as long as possible and then whip your head around to find it again. That's gonna keep you from getting dizzy, like if you're doing like piqué turns, like going across the floor, or chanés. That's gonna keep you from getting dizzy. It'll also help from you getting dizzy if you're doing pirouettes, but this will also help you just keep in your position, stay on your leg, and it just helps you get around. So make sure you spot. So now let's actually turn. Let's see what we're doing. So we're in a fourth position with our pelvis underneath us. We have the majority of our weight on the front leg, some on the back. We're gonna bring our back around. We're gonna spot. Let's see. That was pretty good, huh? My hair came out, but pretty good. Another tip that'll help you if you're going for a certain number, know that you're going for that certain number. Yes, there will be like random times where it's like you're just kind of Hail Marying it around and you happen to get around 3-4 times. That happens sometimes, but majority of the time, if you want to get consistent turns, you need to know in your head how many turns you're doing and force yourself to do that many turns. That sounded really aggressive, but like know how many turns you're doing. If you're doing 3, count to 3 or count down. It helps some people to count down like 3, 2, 1 instead of 1, 2, 3. It helps. Yeah, so make sure you know in your head how many you're doing. That's gonna help you so much and you're not just kind of like, whoa. Another thing, pretend that you are going to be balancing at the end. Ideally, you would be staying up. That's gonna help you not land and throw off your turn and land too early. Because a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll be turning, and then by the time they get to like here in the turn, they're already thinking about landing, so then they're already sending their pelvis back, and then it just throws off your turn. And it'll probably throw off your landing too. So make sure you're thinking, staying up and down. So if you're like me and your biggest flaw is that you go too far back and you splay your ribs and then you can't control your turns, honestly, like my biggest thing is that ballet is like 20% physical work and like 80% mental work. You just have to think about stuff, if that makes sense, until it's literally ingrained in your memory. Like now when I go to turn, literally all I'm thinking about is bringing my chest forward, engaging my abs, staying forward, like almost overcompensatingly going forward. And so that'll help trick your brain because you're always gonna feel like you're doing more than you actually are. So just in your head, like get into your prep for your turn and say, I'm gonna stay forward, I'm gonna stay forward, I'm gonna spot my head. And forward, and there you go. You just have to think about it. It helps. Stay focused on what you're doing. If it's for you not turning in your leg, just whatever you do, that's all you're gonna think about until it becomes muscle memory, and I promise you that'll help so much. Okay, well that is the video, so I really hope you guys liked it. I am always like down for learning turning tips from anyone because turning is hard for me, and so just getting more comfortable and really knowing what I'm thinking about and kind of the steps to doing things, it really helps me. So if you're a professional dancer and you have more tips, feel free to leave them down in the comments. I feel like every day online I learn a new tip, and like just because this works for me doesn't mean it'll work for you. So you can try it, feel free to try it, but don't get frustrated if it doesn't work for you because a lot of it is just finding what works for you. There was a tip online that I saw that people were saying for your triples, just think Coca-Cola, come down. And that worked for me one time. And like, I do that occasionally sometimes if I just really want my triple, and it'll help. So honestly, just look for resources all over. People are here to help you, which is so cool about the internet. But yeah, so let me know down in the comments if there are more technique tips you want me to go over. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave comments. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.